Hello Internet, Jojo here, and today we're going to take a look at the skills, arsenal, and feats of Jill Valentine from Resident Evil and Chun Li from Street Fighter, all in an attempt to see which of these two fighters would win more times than not if they were thrown into a fight to the death. Overall, this promises to be a good matchup. My personal thoughts on it is that Jill wins with a tiny margin for error. Now, if you know anything about these two characters, then you likely know that Chun Li is known for her hand-to-hand combat ability, hence the name of the franchise she's from, Street Fighter. So, obviously, I do agree that she is more skilled in hand-to-hand combat than Jill is. But Jill is no slouch either. She's fought beside characters like Chris Redfield, Leon Kennedy, and even while being controlled by Albert Wesker, showed incredible hand-to-hand combat or near superhuman, actually no, it's not even near superhuman, it is superhuman level feats. So this fight would have good choreography if it was to happen, as both fighters have a surprisingly good number of martial arts under their belt. But that's not where this can end, because this video is, significantly longer than just the opening. You see, Jill's training in the Special Forces, the BSAA, and STARS are significantly superior to Jill's training in the Police Academy. Though Chun-Li's training under, again, her hand-to-hand combat skills are superior to Jill's. But let's not forget that Jill has also undergone a lot of training to use other weapons far better than Chun-Li could ever hope to use them. In fact, heavy weaponry is a staple of Jill Valentine's arsenal. She has machine guns, grenade launchers, sniper rifles, her samurai edge, knives, grenades, bazookas, RPGs, not bazookas, and she has the skill to use them, whereas Chun-Li, her standard arsenal is her hands, or her thighs most likely. Though of course we can't just give someone the win because they brought a Swiss Army knife to a fight, right? Jill's also faster. As weird as that sounds for someone like Jill in the Resident Evil franchise, she's likely faster. You see, the best feat that I saw and found for Chun-Li was scaling her to when Cammy dodged a cop's bullet. Problem is, Jill's done stuff like that and better and more consistently. She's shot missiles out of the air on numerous occasions. She should scale to Parker, who can intercept one of Jessica's bullets. She can dodge explosions and even contend with a nemesis who, in his lowest form, weakest form, could catch missiles out of the air. And to top it all off, she can tag Wesker, who can catch RPGs with his bare hand at close range. So her feats of speed are consistently more consistent and likely better than Chun-Li's one feat that we have to use to scale her. But of course, if Jill moves like a featherweight and hits like a featherweight, it's not going to do much to the thunder thighs of Chun-Li, right? But she doesn't hit like a featherweight, she hits like a truck. Literally. You see, Jill has consistently shown over numerous games to have monstrous strength. In the first game, she could push stone pillars around quite easily, and later could pop Las Plagas zombies with a single kick. And Las Plagas zombies, the weak ones, are the ones that can push massive boulders like the one that Leon Kennedy ran away from. And she can one-shot them. She can throw around the ooze, which are infected with the T-Abyss virus, and the T-Abyss virus is a virus that makes fish predators at almost like 10,000 feet in the ocean. That would be like living and hunting with several elephants on your back, and Jill can throw them around. And this is no means an outlier. She's gone hand to hand with the giant snake Yawn and can rip T-Virus zombies apart. And while you might be thinking, T-Virus zombies aren't really that, durable, right? Wrong. You see, in the Resident Evil 2 remake, in the first opening sequence, a T-Virus zombie gets hit by a semi-truck and takes no damage. And she can crush them with her hands. So when I said that she could hit like a truck, semi-truck to be specific. And this isn't a one-time thing, by any means. She's held a giant railgun, which, when being fired, shattered the ground beneath her feet, meaning that that force transferred through her entire body to hit the ground first. Her bones, her flesh, her clothes, honestly, are stronger than concrete. And remember the nemesis I mentioned before who could catch missiles? She's gone hand to hand and toe to toe with it. But my favorite feat is from Resident Evil Revelations, when she just casually walks through waist high water without slowing down. Like, I'm sure many of you have been to the beach, right? I mean, once it gets to waist high, it's easier to swim because your feet won't even touch the ground very easily. But no, not Jill. She walks through it. It's hard to walk through ankle high water, and she just walks through it waist high. That's just insane to me, so I wanted to mention it. Taking all this from Jill and comparing it to the best feats I've seen for Chun Li, her kicking down a metal door and scaling to Balrog, who could kill an elephant, it seems that Jill has a distinct advantage. And even if Chun Li could manage to land a solid hit on Jill, it wouldn't really hurt her because of all the things she's experienced. I mean, in Resident Evil Revelations, you can tank hits from a cruise ship-sized parasite whale monster, and you can tank them without really too much damage. You just get up and walk it off. She's taken hits from Wesker, Chris, the Nemesis who can break through hundreds of feet of concrete, and Sheva, who, I mean, I guess you can scale to Chris in some way, but I don't know, throw her on there in the end. And can even tank missiles to the back without a scratch. But here's my favorite, yet again, from Resident Evil Revelations. She tanks enough water pressure to bust through 2 vault doors at the same time. Now, these aren't just weak vault doors. These are designed to withstand crushing pressures of the ocean and are really designed to, prevent dangerous viruses and bacteria from getting out. These are some of the best vaults you'll ever find, most likely. And the water pressure busted through it, smacking Jill in the face. That should have pulverized her instantly, but it didn't. She just swam it off. But if we want to start splitting hairs here, which is kind of what I do, she should also scale to Alice, who without her powers tanked a plane crash to the face and walked away with no damage. Like, Alice lost her powers seconds before the plane crash happened. It was very clear Alice didn't have them for that time. It wasn't a gradual loss of power. It was instantaneous. And it crashed, and she walked away. Jill should scale to that, whereas Chun-Li can scale to getting hit by some characters like Balrog and, maybe Jury. I think Jury has a pretty impressive feat somewhere, but I don't really think that's relevant because it's Jury. She's consistently seen as a higher tier than Chun-Li. But going back to their more potent weapons, if you will, while Jill does have, so many machine guns and rocket launchers, Chun-Li also has Ki, or chakra. I'm not sure what it's called exactly. I think it's chi, but she can use it to stop a car. I believe I saw that one happen one time. But that's not really that impressive when the person you're being compared to has grenades and rocket launchers that can one-shot the Nemesis, a creature who can bust through dozens of feet of concrete and catch missiles with the greatest of ease. Also, I want to mention it here because I'm not sure where else to be able to mention it, but Jill can swim so silently and stealthily that creatures who use echolocations, zombies who use echolocation, couldn't find her when they are right next to her. I don't know. I mean, echolocation isn't really one of those things you can stealth by. It just it's a map. It tells you where everything is, but Jill can move so stealthily that they don't pick her up and eat her. I don't know. I just wanted to mention it. Moving on. It's also really important to remember who these characters are. And while this scenario they are fighting to the death, one of them is used to this. One of them is, it's normal for them. It's normal for Jill to fight someone to the death. It's not really normal for Chun Li. Chun Li is a cop before anything else, while Jill is an exterminator. She goes in, cleans house, and leaves. And these scenarios are life and death. Jill is constantly fighting characters who could one-shot her, and she's been doing it for years. Like, through the entire franchise of Resident Evil, Jill has only canonically taken hits like, maybe 3 or 4 times, and that's it. Like, canonically, that's it. And they were from far higher ranked creatures than just your standard zombie. And she's not just fighting mindless creatures. She's fought Wesker, Rebecca, the comms officer, the T-Abyss mutant tyrant thingamajig. And I'm pretty sure that hunters are also of a higher intelligence than your standard zombie. And every one of those could one-shot Jill, but she survives. And get this, she also speedruns. There's an achievement you can get in Resident Evil 3. I believe it's like under 3 hours, and it's called Jill Valentine. It's a ranking, you can get Jill Valentine. So she completed these games in 3 hours. But Chun-Li doesn't have the same experience at all. Chun-Li also has very little experience dealing with opponents who carry weapons. So not only would this fight be at her disadvantage because Jill can just fire things from range, but she has a little experience dealing with those kind of characters who could do that. It's called zoning. And if you haven't noticed, zoning tends to work pretty well in Street Fighter games. So theoretically, it should also work in this scenario as well. Chun-Li is a cop before a fighter, but like I said before, Jill is an exterminator. She's done this for years and survived. Also, Jill's just smarter, like tactically, normal intelligence wise, strategically, she's just smarter. Just her experience and how she deals with zombies just implies and proves that she is smarter. She was a bomb defusal expert in the Delta Force. She can rewire electrical wiring on the spot. She's a master of using the environment to take out zombies, while Chun-Li doesn't really have anything like that. It's also worth mentioning that as of now, Jill should be superior to Resident Evil 2 Leon, Moira Burton, Ethan Winters, Claire Redfield, and on par with characters like the Umbrella Corps characters, Chris, Leon, Hunk Sheva, and Barry Burton. So a broader look at this, a more in-depth look at this matchup, you would have to look into those characters. And if you really want to start pushing this out there even farther, Bruce McGivern, a character in, I believe it's Resident Evil Deadshot? Deadeye? I don't remember. I'll put it on screen. He can contend with a Nemesis variant who can dodge what could be translated as light speed attacks. It's like an electromagnetic thing. I think I mentioned it in a video a while back. But theoretically, could be near light speed projectiles. If that scales to other Nemesis, well then Jill could theoretically scale to near light speed. I don't really think we should approach that here though. But in the end, she can scale to almost everyone in the franchise. Chun-Li can't scale to most characters in hers because she's consistently shown to be a normal human in a world of superhumans. Like, she's not going to be scaling to Akuma anytime soon, even if she does manage to fight him for a few seconds, because it's not her character. Now hear this, it is possible that Chun-Li could one-shot Jill if we start scaling to E Honda's Meteor feat, because I believe that is it's a very powerful feat. Any sort of Meteor feat could one-shot Jill, but I believe the canonicity of that and even the power of that in itself is in question, and it might not even be enough to give her the victory more times than not, but it is possible. I am not really as well versed in Street Fighter as I am in Resident Evil. In short, I think that Jill would win this fight more times than not because she's faster, stronger, has more experience with more deadly foes, has a wider arsenal, and is smarter all around. That's it guys, thank you for watching, see you next time, remember to stay spectacular, Jojo, out. Bye bye!